I am so thrilled to have Eli West here with me today. Eli is one of my favorite musicians, not only for his incredible lyrics, which I want to get into a little bit with him, but his musical ability and his current situation. Now, Eli can talk about some of the phases that he's gone through, but he has a new album out, and the album is titled The Shape of a Sway. And this is what it looks like. And those of you who are watching on television, you can find out more about this album by going to Eli's website, eliwest.com. Is that right?
Right.
And find out more about it. But I consider Eli West sort of a mystery man because there's not a tremendous amount of information about him out there. I don't know if he'll agree to that, but I see that, over the years, if I go to Eli's website, it doesn't say a great deal about him. There are some things about him, but to me, anyway, he's a mystery. And it goes along with some of his music and some of the lyrics in the music, but I'll let him talk about all of that. Why don't we begin by just telling us a little bit about where you grew up, or some of your influences, and all of those things that happened on your journey to becoming a folk artist.
That's great. I want to lean into keeping some things mysterious a little bit, but I'll tell you where I grew up. I am from the Northwest. I've tried to move away a few times, New York City and Maine, but I've just always kind of like the cat that comes back, ended up in the Northwest, and I'm pretty rooted here now. I grew up in Olympia, just south of Seattle. Depending how far away you are, you just say you're from Seattle, but that distinction is about an hour south. And I always played music, was a Suzuki violin kid. And then about seventh grade, I switched to guitar and didn't get the folk bluegrass bug until my first year of college. So I was a little bit of a late comer to that, at least judging by family band standards.
Uh, what were you studying in college?
I was visual art and political
Okay.
science. Yeah. And I always played music, but um, it kind of felt like untouchable as to study it. I think I always thought of music as more of a secondary part of my identity.
Uh,
Probably until I was about 26 or 27, then realized it could become kind of my primary identity, vocationally anyway.
and, and were you employed? Where were you employed? What kind of a job was it?
Yeah,
And
I
are
was.
you still?
Uh, depends. So after college, I kind of grew up really quick. I moved to Seattle and almost got married and got a very serious desk job, and it was great in the moment, but then it felt like it was just growing up too quickly. So music was kind of my escape from losing my 20s in a sense. I had, bought a house and just like checking the boxes a little too quickly. So music was a way for me to kind of slow things down and reclaim some of that exploration in your 20s. I just had it in my 30s instead. But so yeah, it was also coinciding with 2008 when everything was contracting, and I was also just really burning out. It was a graphic design job in Seattle, and I was just kind of chained to the computer, and it felt a bit soul sucking. So touring with music was just such a the horizon burst open, and I realized that there's a lot to explore.
Now, this new album, and again, the name of the album is The Shape of a Sway, which is a line from one of the songs. And I really want to talk to you about that because, here I listened to that song. Oh, I love that song, by the way.
Rocks and trees.
Rocks and Trees. What a great song. And again, the lyrics are kind of mystical to me. And I think your writing is so poetic and mysterious that one of the things that turned me on to you years ago in your album with, how do you say, Callahan? Is it
Cahalan.
Cahalan?
Cahalan, yeah.
Cahalan, okay. And the album was titled The Both, which right off the bat had me interested. The Both. What does that mean?
The both was actually my first solo recording after my project with Cahalan,
Oh, okay.
but heavily influenced by all that stuff I did with him.
Okay. Anyway, there are some great songs on that one. I'll give you your love and you'll give me mine. Well, I forgot the title of that song, but I love that song so
Mm.
much. And that was the time that I, started saying to myself, I gotta talk to Eli West. This guy has an incredible facility with lyrics and also music. I usually My feeling for an artist depends on whether or not I hear them on the radio or wherever I'm listening, and I know immediately who they are. And there's so many artists that you could say, who is that? When I hear Eli West, I know who Eli West is because you have a certain style of singing. I was trying to figure this out with my wife the other day, and I'm saying, what is it? What's the word that would define Eli West's vocal abilities and music abilities? I don't know if it's cadence or something like that, but your vocals are kind of specific. Nobody sing. I honestly don't think anybody could sing these songs but you. Maybe you disagree because you would like some other people to sing them. However, you have a uniqueness about you that can't be touched as far as I'm concerned.
Good timing on a dime. Look and feel the mighty fine. Wonder how to keep the timing now. The ever-loving needs. Here we go on down the road, carrying a heavy load, breaking backs to find that ever-loving need to know. And I'm here all in love with the stars up above, missing out on the chance you're right here for love. You ever love and need to know whatever happens to the time of life feeling fine, and now it's time to let go, and it's time to let them go. All the thoughts that made it so, taking years to find that ever-loving need to know. And I'm here all in love with the stars up above, missing out on the chance you're right here for love. My favorite singers are people that sound like they sing like they talk. There's not a lot of distinction between their talking voice and their singing voice.
Huh.
And that usually implies that there's not a lot of affect or
Yeah.
kind of added filter or effect. So
Uh-huh.
that as I get older, I'm trying to just sing more like I talk.
People might not realize you are an incredible guitar player. And I know that you also play a number of other instruments. You play banjo, steel guitar. Is that one of the instruments?
Yeah,
And
pedal.
mandolin.
A lot of mandolin.
Okay. So you are versed in so many instruments. How did you get involved playing all of these instruments?
Yeah, I've mostly used it as a tool to stay engaged and pull myself out of any kind of rut with another instrument. So inevitably we all top out
Uh-huh.
or get a little bored with one avenue. So for example, banjo really helped me approach right hand rhythm, and then that actually kind of kicked off a new chapter for guitar for me. Similarly, mandolin, maybe more left hand, like tune-up phrasing, was just another way back into my original instrument.
Okay. On this new album, again, the album is titled The Shape of a Sway. And in the song Rocks and Trees, the line, the shape of a sway comes up, referring to, I don't know, is it your wife and your kid? I was trying to figure all of that out, that the lyrics in the song.
Yeah. I don't mind that confusion.
Okay, good.
I mean, it leads to these kind of conversations. So
Yeah.
there is a continuum in songwriting where on one end you have very literal songs about trucks and beer, or I want to check you for ticks, that kind of thing, like kind of radio-centric, commercially oriented stuff. And then on the other end, there's kind of inaccessible writing. I'd think of Greg Brown or Tom Waits or other folks. Kelly Joe Phelps was another guy that I respect, who kind of didn't need it to be, the content to be so obvious or accessible. So I think I'm trying to land somewhere in the middle where the listener has to lean in and try to figure out what's going on, while also having some obvious themes. So yeah, it's a song about my new daughter who's 9 months old. Marin is her name. And the shape of the sway. Also, I appreciate naming records not after a song title, but after a lyric title. I think that creates a little more interest for me. And I mean, largely it's just talking about the struggle to make the switch from not being a parent to then being a parent. Arguably the largest switch I'll have in my life. So yeah, the song's about her. I could tell you a few literal ideas about what I think that lyric is. I'm trying to sing about her in ways that I can't talk about her. I think
love it.
One of the joys of music is another way into understanding, experience.
Now, for the folks who are watching this on TV, they won't be hearing this song. Once again, the song is Rocks and Trees. And if you want to hear it, get the album, go to Eli's website and check out, download, buy the album, because it's a great album and you're going to love it. And if you don't know Eli West, you're going to love him right off the bat. Let me tell you that. But I want to read the line for them because I think it's a great line. It's the chorus in the song, Rocks and Trees, and it says, "And it's you she brought, 'neath the rocks and the trees, the shape of her sway, it's shown in the leaves." And once again, as you say, it's kind of, maybe don't want people to know exactly what, you don't want to say exactly what it is, but poetically, it certainly, it gets you. And the way you sing it, that voice, that, the melody that you create around these songs, it just carries you away. And
yeah, well, really quick, I should take one stab at defining what I was trying to say. Just that, I have been kind of delivered as much as she was into a new chapter of life, and she's my teacher. That's really, she showed up, and I realized she's my teacher. So the specifically, Rocks and Trees, I think of landscape, my experience, both hard objects that can cause pain, but also just are very definitive of my horizon. And the shape of her sway, kind of her essence, even though she can't walk or crawl, I can still see how she moves, and that how wind will show shapes in leaves. It's kind of a similar kind of abstraction of already knowing somebody, even though it's not right in front of you.
Yeah, I love it. I just love it. And
hope that's a decent definition. sea, far from my home. A mountain man like me is stubborn as a stone, been blown in the wind, drifting aimlessly. Oh, here I go again, oh, out on the sea. Left my home in Baltimore, turned the season to my eyes, can't climb out with my own legs, only float up toward that sky. That rudder makes her go, drifting aimlessly. But here I go again, oh, out on the sea, oh, out on the sea, and far from my home. A mountain man like me is stubborn as a stone, been blown in the wind, drifting aimlessly. Oh, here I go again, oh, out on the sea. Stuck in the bottom of a swell, no horizon to my eye, can't climb out with my own legs, only float up toward that sky. This rudder makes her go, drifting against the tide, but climbing out the swell, I need water on my side. Oh, out on the sea, and far from my home. A mountain man like me is stubborn as a stone, been blown in the wind, drifting aimlessly. But here I go again, oh, out on the sea. Oh, out on the sea, and far from my home. A mountain man like me is stubborn as a stone, been blown in the wind, drifting aimlessly.
Your influences go growing up. Who influenced you?
Yeah, like I said, I was a latecomer to the folk bluegrass tent, but before that, I played a lot of jazz guitar. You know, Jim Hall, Bill Frisell, and Pat Metheny. Kind of that category of jazz guitar was a big part of my listening, and then carrying over into Doc Watson, Norman Blake, Tim O'Brien, Tony Rice. You know that, and then I kind of started with, actually the kind of pivot for me was listening to Matt Flinner and David Greer and Todd Phillips play a show in a living room my freshman year of college, and then I just got the bug from that to
Okay.
to switch to bluegrass. But yeah,
You mentioned before that, you are living in the Pacific Northwest at the moment, and I kind of missed it. Where did you grow up originally? In New York or?
No, no, I grew up an hour south of Seattle in Olympia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so, as I said, the what kind of songs were the songs that you regularly listened to on the radio before you started playing out?
Yeah. Well, I can remember my mom sitting at the sewing machine, and that was such an influential time for me based on whatever she was playing. So there's another great interview. I think it's Tom Power interviewing Paul Simon about just influences basically. And Paul was saying that anything you listen to between the age of maybe 10 and 15 that penetrated you the deepest because your sponge was so ready and absorbent, I guess, to use a bad metaphor. But for me, that was Paul Simon because my mom was sitting at the sewing machine listening to Paul Simon, and I can smell what that experience is like still, you know.
Mhm.
So I sang this Hearts and Bones song, which is my favorite Paul Simon song, and I've been trying to put it on a record for maybe 12 years, and it just didn't fit until now.
And it is on this record. So once again, if you guys like Paul Simon, check out Eli West's version of his song "Hearts and Bones," and it's different than Paul's. They in some of the information that's shared by promoters, they compare you to Paul Simon. Sounds like I don't think you sound like Paul Simon personally, but I think you sound like Eli West, which is one of the reasons I love you so much, because you don't sound like anybody I've ever heard before. And for those who, if you can find it, there is a YouTube video out there. Actually, it's hard to find because it took me a number of times to go back and find it again after I found it the first time. And it's called The Isle of France. And it's Eli performing solo on a stage, and it gives you a really good idea about his guitar playing. And he's a great guitar player. So, in addition to all of the other instruments that he plays, check that one out. And there are four covers on the album. You cover a song by Paul Simon, which is Hearts and Bones, and you cover a song by Gene Ritchie, Cool of the Sky. What are the other two songs? I wasn't sure what the other
There's
two. Hmm?
a Larry Sparks bluegrass song called Like a Train,
Okay.
and then a pal of mine in Colorado and a friend of his, Martin Gilmore and Jackson Emmer, wrote the first tune, and then I wrote a verse in there, but they're due the credit on that really great
Away
song.
Out on the Sea, are
Yeah,
you saying? Okay. About the group you're traveling around with now.
yeah. So the core kind of unit is myself and Patrick McGonigal on fiddle and Forrest Merowitz, great upright bass player. Patrick's now in Vancouver, was in Nashville. Forrest is in Seattle. Matt Flinner is someone I've just appreciated forever, and he played on the record both mandolin and banjo. Paris Romero is singing harmonies, and my best friend from college, Peter Hatch, is a piano player who plays some pump organ and prepared piano on the record. So, fitting piano into a string band, I was unsure of how that would land, but it was largely my favorite feature on the record. Oh, there's some kind of ambient reverb coming off of the pump organ too, which was I had some help kind of figuring out how to ground that from Aaron Youngberg, the mixer.
Here's another thing that I'm going to cut out of the interview, and it's the one sheet that comes with the album. It's interesting. I don't get this. It talks about you being a gifted guitar, mandolin, banjo, pedal steel player, and the people. It says all three share intertwining harmony vocals. Weighted Wings covers old time bluegrass and singer songwriter Terrain. So I think I have the wrong name of the album in there.
Oh no,
on this one sheet. Well, what is Weighted Wings?
oh, Weighted Wings is a lyric in Spite and Love.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also Boris and Patrick sing harmony, so I think it's in reference to them singing harmony.
Oh, okay, good. I just wanted to make sure they didn't get that thing wrong. So let me ask you then, is there anything you would like to mention to folks that are listening to this program that you feel you'd want them to know about Eli West or your music or anything?
Oh man, I think just an appreciation for this kind of format, what you're doing, and you know, public broadcasting is under threat, so these kinds of opportunities are all the more important right now.
Yeah.
So thanks for doing that. I'm just grateful to play music. I'm mostly at home changing diapers, so the chance that I get out to get out to play music and share art is really great. I'm grateful for it all.
And we're certainly grateful that you're continuing to do this. Let me tell you, when the album came out, I got very excited and saw, oh my gosh, Eli West has a new album out. And I've got to talk to him this time because I've missed other opportunities. And why, I just don't know. But Eli West has become one of my favorite entertainers. The new album, again, The Shape of a Sway, is out right now. So grab it while it's hot. And all I could say in summary is, hey, Eli, thank you so much for being with me today. And I just hope this album is a great success. I wish you all the best. And now, as far as touring goes, before we leave, do you have, I don't know if there's a list of where you're performing on your website. Your website is kind of secretive a little bit, but
Yeah, I don't have any shows at the moment, but I will have shows up there imminently.
Okay, great. And that's good to know.
Yeah.
Eli, thanks so much for being with me today.
Thanks, Harry.
And all I could say is have a great afternoon and a great life. And
right.
Maybe we'll get to talk again someday. And once again, if you're ever up in the New York Catskill Mountain area, make sure you get in touch with me, because even if I don't come, if you're going to play up here, I'll be there. But even if not, I'd love to meet up with you, grab a cup of coffee or whatever.
That's great.
And so great to talk with you.
All right. Thanks, Artie. Have a good day.
Thanks, Eli. You too. Bye-bye now.
She comes from the womb, but it's you that she brought. And it's you that she brought. Neath the rocks and the trees, the shape of her sway is shown.